two. Let's see if I am live. Because last time, yeah, I'm not gonna lower my. Okay, um, not gonna lie, I'm not really rocking with this. Bro, you know, resist the max. There's no resist the max. Wow, crazy. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hold on, guys. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, holy moly, we're not. Yeah, let's not do that. My bad, guys. Holy moly, that's like literal. Okay, um, how do we start this? Hold on. This is how I sound like. It's kind of. Mm, okay, perfect. Okay, all right. Wait. You guys can freaking hear me breathe. Hello. Okay, good. It's this one. Hold on. No, let's put on. Alright. It's picking up on everything. Hello? Okay. My audio is like actually ass, but I don't know. Kinda wanna make a video. I wish. I'm in the library, by the way, so I gotta stay consistent, but kind of don't like really know anymore. Hold on, let me put my glasses on. You know, it's weird. Like, time is just going so quickly. So I just kind of don't know anymore. You know. Hmm. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm in the library right now, recording a video. I've done this before and I didn't post anything. So what's the point? You know, like what am I doing? You know? Like fear is such a funny thing cuz it's an illusion. Like it's not real. Fear is only there to keep you comfortable, right? It's important in certain circumstances, but like and I say I want I want something, right? The reason why I'm recording myself doing these videos is because I have the goal of creating a big community. That's what I want, right? That's my goal. That's what I think about every day. I can't stop thinking about it. Every day, every second of every day. Trying to think of ways of how I can improve. I'm obsessed with this. I love doing this, right? So why do I have to fight myself to post? Why does it feel like I'm fighting myself? Why does it have to feel like a hassle? Or not a hassle, I wouldn't say, because like I said before, I love doing this, right? But I shouldn't feel any type of restraint. Because I say I want this and I do want this. So sometimes I wonder, do I really want this? Is this what I really want to do? Like what's wrong with me? You know? One of the worst types of people to be, not worst, but one of the hardest, one of the weirdest, and I'd say not hard, but complicating, frustrating situations you can be, or not situations, but one of the one of the most frustrating type of person you can be is a person who is self-aware, but still self-destructive, you know? feel like that's me. Like every time I feel like something good is going on for me, you know, like I'm on a good streak. I do something sometimes that hinders me from really doing my best, from continuing that streak, the streak that I want. You know, who doesn't want to have a good time? Who doesn't want to be performing well? Who doesn't want good things to happen for themselves because of the work that they put in? You know, people want that. Everyone wants that, but it just sometimes it feels sometimes like I sabotage myself, especially when I achieve something that I've always wanted. I don't want to be that type of person, and it makes no sense, you know? Why do I do this to myself? You know, I don't want to make these sad type of videos because I'm not a sad type of person, but, you know, to be honest, I'm making this video because I'm speaking to myself. Well, literally, I am speaking to myself, but just so that I can just so that I can just let these thoughts in my head flow, you know. It's weird, you know. Like another great instance of being aware but still doing self-destructive things is like pornography, for an example, right? I'm in a library. I don't want to say it too loud, right? Pornography. A lot of guys watch it. I watch it, or I used to watch it, right? Well, okay, no, I still watch it, but I'm trying to get away from that. Or in my mind, I should say that I don't do that stuff. That should be my mindset from now on. That I don't do that stuff anymore because I don't. Right? I need to have that type of mindset. But what I'm trying to say is, so many times when I've fallen into watching things I shouldn't watch, doing things I shouldn't do to myself, like it feels so weird. Not weird. It's just the guilt is sometimes I don't even feel any guilt anymore, right? Because one thing I'll tell you guys that one thing I'll tell you guys who are struggling with stuff like that is you haven't really failed. Like when you feel that temptation, you haven't failed yet, right? It's actually when you do it, you fail. I mean that sounds like an obvious thing, but you know it sometimes feels like that. Like when you feel that temptation, right? You feel like you failed in a way, and it doesn't make any sense because you haven't physically done anything. But when I go to those sites, you know, in my head, like I'm fighting myself, telling myself that no, this isn't worth it because I know it's not worth it. Like I know it's not worth it. I know what's gonna happen. You know, fortunately, I've still done it. It's like I have no control over myself, and then it's like I have no control over myself, and then that seeps into different areas of my life, right? When it's time for me to have more self control. right? To be more disciplined, right? I have problems with that. That the saying how you do anything is how you do everything is true. It's a true thing. Or what you do in the darkness will come to light, because that is true, right? Like, how can I want to appear as a self-disciplined person who has good self-control if I'm not doing that when nobody's looking? And then I think that's one of my worst fears of being those type of people, because you're fake. I don't like fakeness. It always feels like a constant battle, you know. Even I'm a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ, and famous prophet in the Bible, Paul. I don't know the specific um, passage, but he spoke about the struggles of knowing what you're supposed to do, knowing the good things you're supposed to do, but you you still, it feels like you have to fight yourself to do it, right? It feels like your body is against the will you have, you know. It's scary, man. It's scary. But you know, the only way to break that cycle is by doing what I say I'm gonna do, right? Listening to myself. If I tell myself that at this time I'm gonna do something, I do it, right? Man, it's so weird because you have nobody to blame. And it's like, even if you do, you shouldn't blame anybody. You should take accountability, right? But it just sucks because you know what you're supposed to do. You know whatever you're doing isn't good for you, right? You have strong. You have a. You're. I know you're the type of person. You know. You know what you're doing is wrong. You know what you're doing isn't good for you. You know, but you still do it. You know. You're an ambitious person who has big goals, but if you can't master like your mind, if you can't do what you plan out to do, then how are you gonna how are you going how are you going to really achieve those goals? Yeah, I'm just yapping, but yeah, I just feel like um yeah, I just feel like saying something, you know. I hope you guys can relate to this video. I hope you guys can really resonate with this video. You know, all the people who are self-aware but are also self-destructive. Just hold on, and because you are self-aware, you know the solution to those problems. There's no cheat code, there's no none of that, right? It's just following what you say you're gonna do, you know? So yeah. Okay. I like talking about this. Content creation is like actual, like, it's a beautiful thing, right? I think being able to post online, right? Post on a platform that has billions of people, right? Let's say you're gonna post a video about a topic, right? Or you just want to speak, right? Maybe you feel different, maybe you feel like an outcast, so you start posting videos, right? And we have a platform like YouTube with billions of people on it, right? Now, there are haters, there are people who are just negative, who like that negativity, but I think just being able to post a video and someone completely across from where you live watches that video, resonates with that video, right? Relates to that video. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, leaves a comment, leaves a like, right? And then sooner than you know, you have a big community of people who think similar to you, but also a little bit different, right? A big community of people who have similar ambitions, but also different type of ambitions, right? And being able to get all those people from different countries, different cultures, different type of ways of thinking, but also a little bit similarities. Being able to get all those people together, I think that's cool, and that's kind of what I want to do. That's kind of what I that's what I want to do with this uh, content creation. I wouldn't even want to call it content creation. I think it's just creation. You know, I like to call it creation because I want to create something, right? Um, but yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the beauty of just posting content. You know, having an area where you can express yourself. Tell your story and have people listen to you. And okay, I know I'm getting off topic, but seeing people with 1,000 subscribers, of course, seeing people with 1,000 subscribers, and they still feel like it's small, right? It's not that much. Just I want you to think about it. 1,000 people, 1,000 human beings with a different story, different culture, um, different experiences. People who think differently, right? Sophisticated human beings, right? Like, we have scientists still trying to figure out how the human body works, right? But they're blown away by it, right? Sophisticated human beings. Almost, I'd like to say, like, rare human beings, because we haven't figured out, or we haven't found any other species similar to us. 1,000, 1,000 of those subscribed to your video, and some also left a like and dropped a comment. I think that's cool, right? I think because there's a billion of us, or more than a billion of us, there's billions of us, right? think because there's billions of us, we tend to actually forget how cool we actually are, you know, how sophisticated we are. It's kind of sad, but yeah, just I like to think of it that way. That's just me. But yeah, now content creation is a beautiful thing. I personally love to create, right? And I think I also love to bring people together, and being able to bring that together with YouTube or Twitch or whatever it may be is a cool thing. That's what I want to do. Man, high school is full of bots, NPCs, people who don't like to think at all, and it's probably only gonna get worse, to be honest. Like I kind of, not really. Okay, I'm in the 12th grade and I'm about to graduate, right? I'm telling you, time in high school has gone like this, gone so quickly. There's no way I've spent 4 years in high school already. There's just no way, you know. I remember when I was in grade 9, right? I was goody two shoes. Like not goody two shoes, but you know, I was very. Damn, my nipples are. Yo, I gotta hit the gym, bro. Holy fuck. Okay, my. I was very pure, I guess. You know, very nervous to go to high school. I think all of us were. That's obviously pretty normal. Kind of excited because it's something new. But the difference between elementary and high school was so evident as soon as I stepped foot into high school, right? It's almost like I could taste the fakeness in the air, right? And I get it. Like you want to fit in. It's a new environment. It's new for you. You want to fit in. In order for you to fit in, you have to act a certain way. And there's a there's definitely a period where I did do that, and it sucks, you know. And it's weird because I knew I don't want to be fake. I want to be myself. I want to be true to myself, right? I don't want to try and change myself for anybody else. But being alone, like it sucks, man. It really does. I don't want to be alone. I want to be able to converse. That's what where I can show most of my energy. Like that's where I release most of my energy. You know, when I'm talking to people who like similar things, just conversing with people. I love doing that. Well, sometimes I like most of the time I like to when I'm at home I just like to relax, but I do like to talk to people because you know people have different stories, different experiences, and I want to learn that. But it's kind of hard to talk to people, want to learn something new, if people in high school or people in general, because it's not only high school nowadays, don't really have anything to talk about. or aren't open to talk at all. It's kind of tough, you know. So yeah, I unfortunately did change myself a little bit to fit in with that group. Um, of course, I'm not gonna try and fit in with, the why do like, and I understand, like, again, it's grade 9. We're all young. I don't expect us to all be philosophers, extremely deep thinkers, but it's like, doesn't it get tired not being yourself? Having to change yourself up a little bit? Isn't that tiring? Isn't that exhausting? You know? Because it takes a lot of energy to act a different way. I don't want to put my energy doing that anymore, at least. You know? And it's weird. Like, people are so good at hiding their failures, their insecurities. At least from what I've seen, people are so good at it, you know? Like, a person like me, unfortunately, I'm not that good at it, you know? Sometimes when I lose something or I make a mistake, I'm not good at hiding it, and unfortunately, people like to make it bigger than it actually is, right? Even if they've made even bigger mistakes, right? And even if I do see the mistakes they make, I'm not the type of person to make it bigger than it actually is. It's kind of like, why? You don't need to do that. It's a failure. Let that person, get over it, overcome it, become better. You know, it's like, and I guess that's why I like doing this, because there's absolutely there's absolutely no way I can talk like this with any of the people in my high school. No way. Because they don't think that deeply, and that's fine. You know, I think I would even really consider myself a deep thinker. I think a lot, but a deep thinker, that's like fourth person type shit. You know what I'm saying? I haven't reached that level yet. But yeah, because there's a lot of pros and cons with thinking a lot. You know, you become more aware. The pros are like you become more aware. You can sense bullshit. Become more aware. You can become more aware. Um, you can probably understand people a bit more. You know, you can have good conversations, interesting conversations with people. The cons are you think a lot, right? So anxiety, overthinking, or negative thinking, or anxiety, negative thinking, all those things are more prone to actually happen, you know, as well as just depression keep happening because you're thinking a lot, you know. So I get why like people just don't like to think because sometimes I don't like to think, right? You just want to just go on, you just want to go on, you just want to go on auto mode and just cruise without really thinking. That's a bit scary though. Speaking of, because I feel like I've cruised throughout high school without really experiencing anything, right? Without deeply experiencing anything. Right? Like I just feel like, yeah, I got there. Yes, I've had some good moments. I've met new people, but it just feels like, yeah, just I don't know. Time just moves extremely quickly, you know? Maybe it's because of this. Yes, it's a Samsung. It's like not everyone has Apple money. And I'd personally say like Samsung is better than Apple. You can buy me if you want. Samsung, sponsor me. But hmm, high school is a funny thing. I usually don't talk about this, but yo, high school was like grade nine was by far my favorite year, my best year, right? Fresh new start. Everyone wasn't too deep into acting fake, People were still real. People were still themselves a little bit, right? Much easier to make new friends, you know. We had good trips in grade nine, you know. It was just nice. Grade 10, my sophomore year, it was a good start, it was an actual good start. I had this religion class where, you know, I'm telling you, the entire class, we were just like all on the same wavelength. It was just a bliss, fun time. It was just a bliss, fun area to be around. Everyone was nice to each other. It was nice. We can all talk to each other. Nobody was trying to fake anything. Second semester, second semester. This is what, you guys need to like make sure you guys clean your armpits now. Or not only that, like you guys gotta focus on your hygiene, because that's very important. Gang, I remember. I think it was May. This is like very risky for me to be saying this shit, because when I start like moving, when the ball starts rolling and more people, start to watch me, people might, niggas might, look back to old recordings and use this against me. But fuck it, nigga. I remember it was March or May. I think it was May. It was May. I don't know what day though. Gang. First period. Also, for American viewers, in Canada we have 4 periods each semester, like 4 periods each day, right? And every semester we change we change the classes, right? So okay, first period, cool, calm, just a regular day. Second period, I'd go. It was French class. It was French class. Oh my gosh, that teacher. She wasn't actually a bad teacher, but like she was one of those teachers that like wants to fit in with, the sports kids and stuff a little bit too much. Maybe she peaked in high school. I don't know, you know. But one thing also to know is Canada is like I go to a shit, you guys might see over here. I might gotta cover this. Now you guys already see it. Fuck. I go to a sports school, and there's like a lot of hockey kids. It's Canada. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, in that French class, there's a lot of hockey kids, and some of my friends were there as well. Gang, I step into that class. First thing the teacher says, what's that smell? I personally don't think it. Let me just continue. She's like, what's that smell? Start smelling. I don't smell anything. I take a seat, right? Another student comes, same thing. She's like, what's that smell? You smell that? What's that smell? Teacher says, oh, I smell the same thing. I still don't smell anything. Everyone comes in, saying the same thing. More people come in saying the same thing, right? So, boom. Talking to my friends. I get up to go to the. I get up and go use the. I get up and go use the washroom, right? The whole class, gang, the whole class started like, because my friends in that class, right? The whole class was talking about how bad I smell and begging my friend to tell me to like, to tell me that it's me who's stinking up the class. You know? I get back. Everyone was silent. Everyone was silent. Like everyone, I was like, what's going on? Bro, okay. Another thing to know, sitting behind me were popular hockey kids. If you're from Canada, you know how hockey kids can be. So a popular hockey guy was, a popular kid in my school, plays hockey, was sitting behind me. Another popular girl that plays hockey was sitting on my left as well behind me. Gang, they start doing this, spraying me with cologne and perfume. I'm like, gang, guys, what's that smell? Where's the perfume? Where's the cologne coming from? My best friend in front of me puts his hand on my shoulder like this. You guys know me what I'm talking about. Puts his hand on my shoulder like this. Says that I'm the one sticking up the class. I was distraught. What am I supposed to do? What would you guys do in that situation? So I get up, and the guy sitting to my left, he wants to be the hero. He wants to save the day. This nigga takes me to his locker, starts spraying me up and down extremely unnecessarily with cologne. So now I start smelling like Cologne Boy. That's peak reference. You guys aren't in tune like that. So now people are closing their nose. It's not because I smell bad, but because I smell like cheap cologne. I go to the office because I want to change my shirt, because I'm smelling. Obviously, they're gonna start saying, "Oh, we don't have extra shirts." Like that day was fucked. That day was extremely fucked. Also, a lot of other mental things. Like it was just a sad time to be in. For the rest of the year, leading also up to grade 11, my friends nonstop would clown me for that shit, boy. Bro, the group chat was the day of the incident. They named the group chat the day of the incident. These niggas are like ruthless. Ruthless. You know what I'm saying? So y'all niggas gotta make sure you guys clean your armpits, get your hygiene on top, because some of you niggas unfortunately don't do that shit. That's just speaking from a guy from experience. You don't want to experience that traumatic event, because that will do some serious damage to you. You're gonna like be so frantic about how you smell. You don't want to experience that. You don't want to experience that shit. So just lock in, or don't. Stink up the area. Let's see what happens. But yeah, just lock in. Feel me? Just yeah, keep yourself clean.